When the crypto fear and greed index warms up, I always like to look at the stock RIOT blockchain. Now, the index is at its highest since November of last year. And normally this signifies more bullishness in the crypto market. Now, RIOT blockchain we looked at earlier last year, did the price analysis, but we also noticed that it's highly correlated to Bitcoin. Now, I'm a Bitcoin miner, so it's quite obvious really. So when things heat up, they go into action, and normally that's quite good for the stock price. So as an update, I'm going to look into the RIOT blockchain stock price and see where it might be heading next. So with that, let's get on with the analysis. So for those that didn't see my last video on RIOT, then in front of you now is weekly line chart. The light blue line is RIOT and the orange line there is Bitcoin, and just notice how both of the lines are very correlated with each other. They move in sync, and that's the point I was trying to raise in the introduction, that once Bitcoin starts moving, so does the RIOT blockchain share price. They're a mining stock of Bitcoin, so it only makes sense. But I just want to throw that out there so you could visualize it a lot easier. So back to the regular weekly line chart then, and the big takeaway here is if you're focusing on that double bottom picture pattern there around the early 20s, signifying price didn't really want to go much lower. It's turned around, like I say, correlated into Bitcoin and starting to move on up. We can see going back to 2020 that huge long run up of nearly 4,500%, and then the pullback, then that yellow shaded area where there's a lot of price noise, which coincides between the 38 and the 61.8 Fibonacci lines there. So quite significant. Could be a slow down point if the price of RIOT starts to move on upwards, and if you can get through there, then it's got to start thinking about those highs of around about $70. In terms of volume at price, then you can see it is all a lot lower. There's a lot around this point, and then there's that sort of gap down to the base where the price was mostly around 2019 and 20. But at the moment it's more encouraging with that double bottom sign, and I say married into the rumblings of a crypto complex recovery. So for everyone who thinks the price is going up, there's always someone who thinks it's going down. So the 4 line break chart could be for you. Got some numbers for a reversal in price for entry around the $21.46 to $20.84 mark. So something for you bears to consider. So straight into the daily Heikin-Ashi chart, and the signals both at the bottom are bullish. Volatility's actually fallen down quite significantly from nearly 100% to, well, the average 100% to just around about 70%, and volume also slightly down but bullish in regards to the recent up run in price. And if we head on to the price, we can see trading around the mean of the 2 standard deviation regression bands, and we've got a buy signal breaking out now above the 2 line pink box break setup. So with the current correlation to the move in Bitcoin, feeling a bit more bullish in the shorter term, but you can see that long-term trend has been down as it awaits, and I say, this next move in Bitcoin. Onto the Renko chart, I've used a $1.50 block size. Now our signals are mixed, the trend's still down, but the short-term signals both bullish, so pretty neutral there. Heading on to price, the trend's been down a fair way, but you can see that reversal, the support in the early 20s, targets those green circles to the upside around about, say, 50, 75 and into the early 90s. Downside into that red zone between 10 and 0. So because this is so highly correlated to Bitcoin, you can actually trade blockchain, RIOT blockchain, as a proxy to the Bitcoin itself. And that means you can then use other tools to create some interesting strategies. It's very hard to trade options in Bitcoin, but in stocks, much easier. And then you can create a more specific point of view, trade idea to capture potential market moves. So I've headed into my broker first trade to pull up their options play scenario builder, and I've looked at a couple of ideas. If I had $1,000 to invest, what could I do with it? Well, that would buy me 44 shares outright, cost me the near $1,000, which is not a bad trade. And as you can see from the green score there, 111, so anything green's good. Then we could buy a May call, the 22 strike, very good score, 172 points there on their scoring system, so very good. Or we could even invest in a May 22-30 strike call, vertical call spread position, going to cost 239, so cheapest one there. Not a bad score, 108, but still not as good as that call. Just playing around with scenario builder a bit, if the price got up to $44, then our shares position, that would make us a tidy $854 profit, 87% return. The vertical call spread, $561, 234% return. But standing way out there is that call position, naked call, $1,600 profit with a whopping 446% return. So, you know, if you don't want to trade Bitcoin directly, then, and you want to create more specific scenario strategies, then maybe have a think about getting into the options side of RIOT blockchain, or even, you know, CFD spread betting, where you can get some sort of leverage. So let's give RIOT blockchain a score based purely on the technical analysis at this moment in time. Then I'm going to give it a neutral, and that's only based really because, you know, the price is starting to consolidate a bit, create that base, looking for signals from Bitcoin, and once it gets those and starts to move higher, and the Heikin-Ashi and Renko charts there turn a bit more bullish, then I'll be quite happy to upgrade RIOT blockchain to a more, you know, bullish outlook. But if you are bearish, some numbers in the top for you there as potential entry points, and into the targets, good upside 2.08 and 5.08 to 1, and I was working off conservative stop numbers there, and to the bearish downside 2.5 and 4 to 1. But just at the moment, a neutral score for RIOT blockchain. So RIOT blockchain, technically, you know, neutral at the moment, as it looks for signals from Bitcoin for that bullish push on upwards. Now it gives us great advantages trading RIOT blockchain over Bitcoin directly, because it gives us extra tools which are very hard to utilize in the crypto world, things like options, spread bets, CFDs, to give us a more modeled point of view around price direction. Now obviously, you know, it's waiting on what's happening next with Bitcoin, because that's its business. But let me know in those comments below where you think it might be heading next. Is there anything we need to know that you'd like to share with us in those comments? And if there is, then please do, love to hear from you. If you want to talk even more and in more depth on the topic, or anything for that matter to do with trading, then we have run a free traders club on Discord. Anyone can join. I'll put a link in the description below for you to follow there if you want to get involved. So all that's left for me to say is, well, I hope you've enjoyed the video and you give us the thumbs up, and I wish you all the best and all the luck with the trading, and I hope to see you in the next video.